We all know that this is average, which makes this an average PC.
It's actually more than that. It's the most average PC, made of only the most popular parts on the Steam hardware survey. It's actually not the first time that we've done this concept. It's been about 3 years, 2 GPU launches, and a Linus beard shave since the last time we were shocked to discover that the typical gamer's PC had actually gotten worse. I have a feeling this year, though, it's going to be even more interesting. Between Windows 10 reaching end of life, game developers targeting higher minimum requirements, and an unprecedented market shift that at first glance looks kinda interesting, but when you crunch the numbers, reveals a lot about what gamers are buying right now. So let's take a look at all these parts. And let's build the average PC and see if it's enough for modern gaming. What is enough for our average games, though, is our sponsor.
Enable. Their N-Central endpoint management software offers you the freedom to run IT the way that you want to, with highly customizable workflows without sacrificing security features. Learn more using our link in the video description.
Right away, we're off to a similar start. With 6 cores and a base clock of 2.5 gigahertz, it aligns perfectly with the information Valve makes publicly available on their survey. Which actually brings me to my first little gripe with Valve's survey. Guys, can you please give us more indication of the generation of these CPUs? It would make the hardware survey vastly more informative for its users and game developers, which could know which 6-core CPU they're targeting. It's either this one or some random Xeon chip from over a decade ago. The more likely answer is it's actually AMD that's driving up these 6-core sales. But how could that be when Intel is still out competing them? Well, this is actually where the numbers get really interesting. See, Intel is still ahead of the overall install base, but they've lost about 5% of their lead to AMD since the last time we did this. On the surface, that looks pretty bad for Team Blue. But if you break it down, it's actually much worse. You see, the Steam hardware survey has been including PCs that have been deployed for years, sometimes decades, which means that if AMD is moving the needle in such a short period of time, they need to be outselling Intel by substantially more than that 5%. And that seems to be the case. According to TechSpot at least, who found that AMD was outselling Intel 3-1 on Amazon. If you combine that with gaming handhelds like the Steam Deck being almost exclusively AMD, you're getting a troubling trend on your hands for Intel, who will eventually lose their throne as the most average gaming CPU. Very troubling indeed. Don't worry, that was actually empty. I sleight of hand you. Anyways, for parts that aren't covered on the Steam hardware survey, such as the motherboard, we went to the top seller on Amazon. After sorting by Intel and dismissing the "Are you sure?" prompt, we grabbed the Asus TUF Z790 Plus Wi-Fi. Compared to last time, boy, are people ever spending more on their motherboards. I mean, it's a better board. It has more slots for expansion cards, more M.2 slots, more system memory, not to mention more modern I/O, including Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth. But it's over $100 now. Jeez, people. Speaking of more RAM slots, we're still only going to use 2, but at least it gets an upgrade from DDR4 to DDR5. Unfortunately, the most popular kit is this 5600 Megatransfer's, crucial stick. It's much slower than the DDR4 we actually used last time. And we don't even get more capacity for our trouble. 32 gigs is climbing up the ladder in the hardware survey, but 16 gigs is king for now. At least our slow-ass RAM is only using 2 of those slots. The Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 SE is an amazing value. I don't even know if it's the top seller on Amazon right now. I don't care. It's $35. You should buy it. Just installing the backplate here. Works with AMD or Intel. In our case, like we said, we're doing Intel. Moving on to storage. This is actually another pain point for me, Valve. 1 terabyte plus? Okay. And making matters worse is you guys don't even tell us what type of storage it is. Sure, in most cases, the difference between a SATA and an NVMe SSD is, almost non-existent today. But in the future, direct storage could be a massive game changer to help reduce load times. And if you don't share with game developers what type of storage is being used on most gamers' systems, they're probably less inclined to utilize it. The one we're using today, which is, again, the top seller on Amazon, has, holy cow, 10,000 plus people have bought this in the last month? Well, It's a 2 terabyte 990 Evo Plus. We're gonna put it right in the top slot there. Oh, there we go. Now we just need to put our board in a case. But which one? You see, the Corsair 3500X is the top seller, and it would be a very good choice. But what really caught my eye was the Aqua 7 by Okeanos. Have you ever heard of Okeanos? Neither have I. But they were Amazon's top pick, and according to their website, which, by the way, appears to be completely AI generated, from product descriptions to customer testimonials and even their hours of operation, Okeanos has been a trusted name in the PC accessories industry, committed to delivering high-performance cooling solutions and innovative cable management. That's AI, 100% AI. At $90 though, these 2 tempered glass panels and the 6 included RGB fans are kind of hard to beat, especially when Corsair wants anywhere between $20 and $40 for a single RGB fan. Honestly, if you kind of like the Lian Li O11 dynamic look, this honestly seems pretty sick. Tons of intake for the ventilation for probably the power supply at the bottom, and then it kind of has the bottom to top airflow design, the wrapped glass look, and even your I/O on the front here. Feels very light though for a case. Actually just have to see what building in it is like. Oh, it's actually got like an included fan hub as well. Very nice. Oh man, once this glass is off though, I can really tell this thing weighs absolutely nothing. This weighs like 2 pounds. Alrighty, well, let's build in it. I didn't actually check the clearance if this cooler's gonna fit. I really hope it does. Oh boy. Oh yeah, it looks like it will. Alrighty. One thing I just got to is I did my other screws. I'm getting ready to do these bottom 3. These fans are kind of in the way of reaching these bottom screws. Might be a little bit annoying. We'll see if we can actually get them in here. You know what? You can probably make it work, but it's something to be considerate about. A bigger issue is this slot is now actually unusable if you decide to keep these fans in. Getting those bottom headers plugged in is probably also going to be a pain. Oh, we'll have to see here. We should wire everything up though, I guess, first. So let's get our power supply, which in this case, we ended up with something that's probably a bit overkill for our system, the Corsair RM1000X. I'm not complaining though. It's a quality, fully modular unit that, according to our labs teams, actually exceeds its rated efficiency at low loads. Plus, it's got a lot of headroom if you decide to install a beefier GPU. Definitely not a lot of managing room back here. There's our PCIe power. I guess we should install the GPU. Which brings us to the star of the show, the RTX 3060, specifically the 8 gig version. Okay. This is actually a lot better than the last time we did a Steam average PC, because that GPU got a downgrade during the great GPU shortage. Plus, that GPU did not have a lot of modern features presented on these newer cards, specifically like DLSS resolution upscaling or even ray tracing. It's not powerful enough that I would actually turn ray tracing on, especially in demanding titles, but it's still a very competent GPU. You should just try to get the 12 gigabyte version if you're considering getting one of these today. This might be kind of a bowed out side panel. There's not a ton of cable management room here. Sometimes you gotta give it the old. Dang it. Oh yeah, she's a little bowed. Wow, it's not a bad looking system. The white GPU is a little bit of an eyesore. I should have gone with an all black GPU, but whatever, let's fire it up. With the average PC complete, we just have a few finishing touches. The only information we have on monitors is actually the resolution. So for our setup, we're rocking the 1080p lifestyle. 1440p has gained about 8% share since the last time we did this, but it is still miles away from becoming the most common gaming resolution. One stat that I would love to see in the future would be the refresh rate, because I have a feeling that more and more users are actually switching to higher refresh rate displays now that you can get a 165 Hz monitor for as little as $100. But Valve doesn't include that information. Yet? Valve? Let's turn the computer on. As for our final survey stat, we just need an operating system, and it looks like 2025 is still the year of the Windows desktop. But hey, at least it's Windows 11 now, thanks to Microsoft killing Windows 10. Neat. Linux has actually made a little bit of progress towards gaming domination, but if you were expecting Tux to ride in like this, that 1% gain, most likely due to products like the Steam Deck, is going to come as a disappointment. I know I said I wasn't gonna turn RTX on in this card, but I kinda wanna see how it handles Indiana Jones. All right, so we're on native 1080p, no upscaling, no frame gen, very minimal RTX settings, and we're on medium to low. But in our intro scene here, we're getting about 75 average FPS, and it's not dropping below 60 in our 1%. Man, at any point in this game, if you just like pause and stand still, like everything looks fantastic. Again, especially since we're not doing any sort of DLSS upscaling or anything. But now it's a 30 series card, so now you'd have access to it. We should try something else though. Let's try the new Doom. Just came out like last week at the time of filming.
Doom Dark Ages.
It's kind of averaged out at 50 average FPS, and that's my 1% lows. I mean, 60 is what I would call bare minimum nowadays. But hey, you know what? We have access to DLSS. I am gonna turn it on just because I wanna do a sanity check. And I am immediately at about 20 FPS higher? 70 average FPS, 65 in my 1% lows. But I wanna see what some other people think about the Steam average PC.
I'll play games even if they're not like, 120. I'm chilling if it's at 50, and this so far looks really playable, at least to me. Is this like the hardest part in the game to like run at the beginning with all the foliage?
Yeah, it's very physically demanding.
Yeah, so I mean, if this is the hardest part of the game, I'd imagine the rest of it, I'd be more than happy to play it like this. Probably runs better than my home PC.
It's chugging, right? Because the moment where I think we're entering a more densely populated area where like there's so much more light refracting off the leaves and stuff like that too, it full on stopped for a bit. Whoa, what is going on? What?
That was the ultimate ray tracing experience.
yeah. So see, like the environment's pretty responsive, but yeah, I go here and it's like, oh, all the rays. God, is that you?
Is this a playable experience?
It is a playable experience, especially a game like this. It's a bit of a more relaxed, cinematic experience.
It looks pretty soft. It doesn't look bad, but it definitely looks low resolution. It might not help that this monitor is a really crappy old monitor. As far as average computers go, if this is what the average gamer has, not so bad. I can definitely tell some of the settings are down, like the shading of the foliage is pretty unremarkable. But I also think we're in this weird era of PC gaming where we're so obsessed with fidelity. And it's like, it doesn't freaking matter. Just turn that part of your brain off and just enjoy the art.
Would you be happy with this gaming experience?
I would be fine with this gaming experience. If you're playing it at these settings and you're unable to have fun, that's a you problem, man. That is not the game's problem.
Give us your experience on Doom.
I mean, it runs better than Indiana Jones, but it's that hard. I mean, I think it's a good sign that I'm just like kind of locking in and just like, oh, I'm just gaming. This is fun. No problems, Basically, if I didn't have frame view in the top left, I'd just be happy,
Yeah, hey, this is feeling good. If I was like, hey, this is the PC you're gonna game with, I'd make do. I'd be like, okay, cool, I can play Doom on this, and then I would adjust my settings accordingly. I haven't hit any stuttering. Like, I'm not blaming any missed shots on the hardware yet.
The performance is totally good. This is absolutely playable. Doom is a game that I'd like to see above 100 frames, but I know that this one has mandatory ray tracing stuff, so that's kind of unrealistic on a budget system. This is an adequate experience. It looks pretty good. It plays well. The responsiveness is good. It's certainly not getting in the way of my fun. Is it a perfectly optimized experience for me? Probably not.
I'm gonna adjust one thing to settings. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm adjusting.
Oh, we're back. The number is higher in the top left.
Yes, I've made a settings change to give you more FPS. I want you to tell me, does it feel better, worse, the same? How do you feel?
It definitely feels like smoother.
Would you play with this setting versus what you just played with?
I'd probably play on this setting just because so far all that I notice is that it's smoother. And so I would definitely just take those frames unless there's something else that I'm missing out on, but right now it feels like a good experience.
Oh, it does feel a little worse.
Okay. Even though you have higher FPS right now?
It just feels chunky, like choppier a little bit. Like I'm looking at this wall with some particles. The moment I look at these enemies, I can tell there's a discernible difference here in terms of how I'm perceiving the screen, right? So, yeah.
It's a little too much. I like upscaling, but every raw piece of data that they have is too low res that it, even with like the sophisticated upscaling, it still looks very low detail. Is it nice to be above 100 frames? Sure, but I think this is a little bit too much. Like even that animation on the screen, I can see the resolution of the sprite or whatever that was.
I want you to guess the price in US.
I could see it for not going any more than $1,000. Probably from the $800 to $1,000 USD range.
700 US?
Maybe around $2,000 US.
It's way overpriced.
Oh, way over.
Yeah. You're playing high on the safe end because you don't want to go under. It was $1,250.
This performs better than what I have at home, and so for that price point, and it's cheaper, so that's amazing.
It's $1,250
Oh, wow.
to buy all the parts right now.
This config?
This exact computer. It's a little bit on the expensive side.
Wow. With that GPU in it?
Yes, $1,250.
Are you f***ing kidding me?
That is a $200+ motherboard, and they are selling 10,000 of them a month on Amazon.
People, if you're watching this video, go watch some of our videos on how to build a budget system. For $1,250, you could be having 4K gaming, man. You could have such a better experience than this. This is totally adequate if you spent like $400 on a used computer. Like that would be like, that's pretty good. This is ridiculous. I'm so upset that it costs this much money. What a ripoff.
Well, there it is, the 2025 average PC. It's a reasonable budget, and I think most people would be okay with this gaming experience, even in fairly demanding modern games. However, that doesn't mean it's the best choice for your money. You could also check out this parts list, which we'll have linked below, that includes double the RAM, a better CPU, and a better GPU for about the same price. I think the biggest takeaway this year is actually for Valve. The Steam hardware survey is an amazing tool, but in its current form, it's not as useful as it could be. To correctly guide game developers, it needs to provide more information on the CPUs, give more details about user storage, and I think it could also stand to be updated to tell us more about the displays that gamers are using. YouTube, for instance, has seen a huge trend towards living room viewing. Is a similar thing happening in PC gaming? Who the f knows? What I do know, though, is our sponsor.
Grammarly. You know, it's not easy for business team to write all these scripts, and it takes a lot longer than you might think. If writer's block is something you're experiencing as well, Grammarly might be able to help. They're an AI partner that gives you real-time and high-quality suggestions that adapts to your voice so it sounds like you, not AI. It can even whip up a full draft for you to simply touch up and finalize, all while making sure the tone of your writing is in line with the context of each unique scenario. And forget about switching tabs, hopping between windows, or even monotonous copy and pasting. Simply install Grammarly, and it can provide real-time feedback right where you're working across 500,000 apps and websites like Word and Slack. Get your work done in a few clicks, not a few hours, so you can focus your time on other things like going to happy hour. So use our link in the description to download Grammarly for free and take a bit of time back in your day.
If you guys enjoyed this video and are interested in grabbing any of the parts we featured today, we're gonna have them all linked below. But you should also go back and see the last time we did this, which I think was in, oh my God, 2022, 2021, just to see how much it's changed.